I'm Bob Spinozzi, and welcome to Small Town. On today's show, we're going to start gearing up for the summer. We'll hear about a teen program that Littleton Parks and Rec is offering to teens entering the 6th through the 9th grade. It's called the Teen Adventure Summer Program, and each day of each week, well, there's a different adventure. The daily outings include swimming, kayaking, river tubing, hiking, skydiving, and amusement park fun. There's also a day trip to George's Island and Boston Harbor, and other trips to Wingateague, Salisbury, Crane, Hampton, and York Beach. In sports, there's a trip to Worcester to visit the Red Sox top farm team, the Woo Sox. There's another day planned for the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield. And I guess it goes without saying, there's a trip to Foxborough to see the Patriots Place and the Pats Hall of Fame. Now, I've really only mentioned some of the activities because there's so many more. Now, to go over the entire program, I have with me the architect of the summer program, Parks and Rec Program Coordinator, Brent DeBraga. Thank you so much for being with me.
You're welcome, Bob.
And I do meant that you were the architect because you've been working on this thing since this winter. Tell us how you went through the process of pulling these weeks together.
With a lot of experience over the years, been doing these kind of programs for the better part of 2 decades. Been working in similar camps for almost 3 decades now. You got that whole chest of tricks in your bag, and these trips here. Some of these are brand new to my summer, but a lot of these trips are trips I know have worked amazing with this type of age before. I kind of know how to lay out the weeks where it works really well for everybody. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of logistical stuff. We got to make sure everything's going to fit and work. And
how do you go about blending in different kinds of activities for each week to make things a little bit diversified?
Well, you try to get different trips out there. If we're just going to beaches all the time, which a lot of some trip camps, they're just going to beaches. I try to really mix it up, so we're getting outdoors sometimes. Sometimes we're indoors with like the skydiving trip to Sky Ventures. It's a skydiving tunnel, and it is an indoor trip. But the day before that and the day after that, we're outdoors for the whole day. Canterbury Lake Park is a great spot to be in. And these trips, the idea of it is that there is some downtime scheduled in the week too. On the Long Lake Beach local trip days, basically the idea is we might go swimming at Long Lake. We might watch a movie up at our new headquarters, they're called The Club. We might also go to the mall, but it's more of a relaxed day because we're going really hard. These kids are going to be exhausted.
Now, what happens on a rain day? What if you can't go to one of the intended places?
Yeah, so we have some alternative trips. One of our more favorite ones, and the kids would agree, is called Chunky Cinema. It's a movie theater that has chairs that are like Lincoln Navigator chairs or Cadillac car chairs. So they're like really comfy and they lean back and they rotate.
Where is this?
There's a few of them. There's the one we'd probably go in is Nashua.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really unique movie theater. They have restaurant food with real servers. The kids really get a kick out of it, and sometimes it's a good break too when it rains, and they kind of go,
Right. Now you started to mention that you're going to stay local for some of the days.
That's right.
During the times, the different weeks that you're going to be running this program. Tell us about some of those locations. I can see them here, but tell the folks.
Yeah, we have that awesome Castle in the Trees. I know a lot of the kids really enjoy it. The basketball court's down there, so we'll get down there for some sports. There's a few of the conservation areas around for nature walks, and I know a lot of the kids are interested in going to the malls, spending those gift cards they get for birthdays and Christmas and whatnot. But it's definitely more, the idea of that day is definitely more of a relaxed day where, if you're ever going to Canterbury Park, you get home and you're pretty tired. So it's always nice that after a full week of activities that, we're going to have some built-in downtime so the kids can really, take that deep breath because they're on vacation as well.
Now, are they bringing their own lunch? Are they bringing a brown bag lunch and bringing liquids to keep themselves hydrated?
A little bit of a mixed bag. There are a few speckle trips along the way that we have some lunch provided.
Well, I noticed Kimball's is on here.
That's right. So there'll be some probably some ice cream or something like that involved. And there's a few other trips that, I'm trying to look here just quickly. I know there's a few trips that we have where lunch is part of the package when we go, but it's very few of them. So for the most part, it's, they bring money or they bring lunch. We'll have, extra waters on hand, but we ask them to bring waters every day. We're outside a lot in the sun, so we also ask them to bring sunscreen, but we also provide it as well. But it's, you got to be prepared for everything because, we're outside a lot and we're on the go a lot.
Now, the days run typically from 8:30. They start at 8:30 in the morning?
That's right.
And they run till late afternoon?
Generally speaking, 4 is our default number, but there are some trips that we're going to have some extended hours, just because we want to be able to fit in and not rush through our day. Specifically, to point out, is Candia Springs Adventure Park. It's a very big day. That's up in central New Hampshire, so it's a long drive. It's a very unique place. And then we're also going to tour some of the spots along the Kangamangas Highway. So that's going to be a lengthy trip. So to accommodate for that, it's a later return time. Also, our end of year trip on Canobie Lake Park, our return time is 6:30 because we're going to have our big, big celebration at the end of the year at Canobie Lake Park. And we want to stay a little extra time so we can enjoy the park some more.
Now, at this age, the kids, they're not driving. So my guess is that I don't think too many of them have been to Gloucester, period, the city of Gloucester, where you're going to be visiting Wingashiek Beach. Cranes Beach in Ipswich. So they're getting to travel a little bit, I guess is my point.
Yeah, that's right. We get around.
They're getting to see a lot of different locations in three states.
That's right. Yeah, we're going almost all over New England.
Now, you tell us a little bit about your background. I know you've worked with some of the local boys and girls clubs, and that's giving you kind of an idea of these trips, similar trips.
Yeah, I've had a long career before here with the Boys and Girls Clubs. I also grew up with the Boys and Girls Clubs, and throughout that time, we had dedicated counselors that really gave me a great experience and allowed me to do things that I never would have had a chance to do.
Grew up locally?
Yeah, I grew up in Hudson. I also worked for them for a bit too, and I worked with the Marlboro location, and I ran the Boys and Girls Club in Lunenburg for a bit. And through that time, we did a lot of these field trips, and we got to learn the best of what works and what doesn't, and really put together, I think, in my opinion, this is my best summer ever. Yeah.
Have you taken any trips with any other groups to football, Patriots?
Yeah, it's a special day. We usually get pretty lucky. Now, I don't advertise it because it's very difficult the way the Patriots and Bill Belichick works on their practice announcements, but we usually get lucky where the day we do go there, they're practicing.
Trying to, where is that? I don't know. What day is that?
That would be week F on Tuesday. So we have it, marketed as Patriot Place and Hall of Fame. But like I said, we tend to get pretty lucky that week of the summer where the boys are practicing and we get to watch them
So
practice.
this is 27th of July.
That's right.
Yeah, so they will be practicing.
Yeah, so likely, and it's tough though, because sometimes Bill
Just
decides.
can't make any promises.
Yeah, Bill decides what he decides, and it's up to him. So it's not me. But I've gotten pretty lucky over the years, where I think just about every summer we've got to see them practice.
Now these groups, Brent, how large are they? How many supervisors are with each bus?
Yep. So some weeks we have a van driven by a staff member, and there's 10 kids in the van. Some other weeks we have buses that'll be driven by a bus driver, and the staff will be on the bus with the kids. That's usually the number of kids in those weeks so far. On the weeks that we have the vans, it's no larger than a 10-to-1 ratio for that group, and it tends to be a lot less than that. So we have, for instance, if we had 25 kids, we'd often have 3 staff for them. And at that age, that's about 7-to-1, 7.5-to-1, and it's a really good ratio for that age. And that gives us the ability to really customize the day. So for instance, when we go to Hampton Beach, instead of everybody having to go here and do this, we have 3 counselors. We could break that group down to 7 or 8 kids, and one counselor can go to one of the shops that kids want to shop at. Another counselor can bring them over to one of the food areas. Another counselor might be taking a walk on the beach with some kids. It really provides us a lot of freedom on our day to kind of, like I said, customize that day for everybody's likes.
Okay. So now these programs run weekly from June 20, correct me if I'm wrong, June 27th to August 19th? 12th?
August 12th.
12th. Let's get into the registration. I know you've been having ongoing registration,
That's right.
but how much longer is it going to last? What's the last week for registration? Let's get into the cost a little bit too.
Yeah, so registration goes up until the Friday before that week, and or if the week fills, because there is a limit of how many kids we can take. Currently, right now, the resident fee is $385, non-residents are $405. You can jump on our website and find Teen Adventures and sign up for whatever weeks you'd like. There's
Okay,
also,
so going on the website, we're going to be pulling up this schedule.
That's right.
Weekly schedule.
Yeah. And through our what's called MyRec software that parents have accounts on, there's a very long description of each week, and it's very detailed of what these kids are signing up for and what they're getting involved in.
Okay. There's some pretty exciting news, don't we? Parks and Rec is moving. They've actually partially moved. Talk about that. And the new program that you have up on the top floor of the old library.
Yeah, that's our
where
highlight.
you're going to be.
Yeah, that's our highlight so far of what we've opened is the We repurposed the old children's room of the Reuben Hoar Library because they've had their big move and big rebuild. We repurposed that into what's called the Club. And the Club's going to be an after-school program that's already open for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th graders. There's a whole pricing structure. You can jump on our website to check it out. For 4th and 5th graders, it's going to be $350 a month next year. For 6th and 7th graders, it's going to be $250. That comes with different, scenarios, and there's a lot to explain. But this year, we have a really great special. For the month of May, it's $175. For the month of June, it's $150. If parents sign their children up for both those months, they automatically qualify for a promotional rate next year of $50 off for September through December of the rates next year.
Okay. A lot of the different events here, daily, adventures, are really worth mentioning. They're all worth mentioning, but Sky Ventures, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so this is one of the ones that I've never done a field trip.
You've never been on it?
Yeah, this is one of the ones that early in January I like to go scout a few locations and try to find those new gems that I haven't got a chance to check out yet. And I walked in this place, and within a very few close minutes, I was like, we are definitely coming here. It's and some people may know of it. It's got a water facility with some surfing.
Where is it?
It's in Nashua.
Okay.
And it's also has the wind tunnel. And when I walked in, there was an instructor with another instructor kind of just showing off a little bit for me because they knew I was coming. And they, I actually have a video that I think I supplied you guys that has them do some tricks, and they go up, and fast, and then they had some younger kids go in with the instructor and did some stuff, and they kept them at a much lower, spot, and it was much safer. And I was 100% sold on the safety of it, but also just what an amazing experience these kids get to do, where they get to have that thrill of skydiving with none of the danger.
Right. Now I also noticed that a visit to York Beach is on here. Have you been to York Beach yourself?
Yeah, I have. That's a great trip for the kids. It's
Are they going to be right next to the amusement?
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of both. We're going to go to the beach and enjoy, some swimming and some beach games, and then we're going to go up to the amusement areas and walk around and enjoy like the arcades and that kind of stuff.
But it's a regular arcade area.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's good. That's a fun trip, and it's unique. Sometimes kids don't get to go up there so often because it's a bit of a drive. But we're on a venture.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to mention that?
No, I think I think we all know what we've been through the last few years with the COVID. I won't say that word. And it's been heartbreaking to see what the kids have lost, and its experience. I was lucky enough to have rich experiences through my teenage years, and it made me all the more better for it. It helped me give culture in my life. It helped me give experiences to my children when we get to go off and go to these great places. I've gotten to take literally thousands of children on these great adventures. In the last couple of years, we didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I mean, there are things on here that I'm sure a lot of the kids have never been to. Well, maybe they haven't been to Boston other than just to drive through.
That's a really
maybe go
trip.
to a Fenway.
Yeah, that's
maybe
a unique
go to a
trip.
Red Sox game.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to Red Sox games. That's a really unique trip. We're actually taking a boat ride out over the Boston Harbor. It's a large cruise ship, and it goes out over Boston Harbor to George's Island, which is an old military fort.
I've been on that.
We get to tour around it. There's all sorts of dark tunnels, and there's the woman in black that haunts the place, and it's a really great adventure.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, best of luck for this. Sounds great. Sounds like a real diversion for kids.
Well, I love it. I always say that my two favorite times of the year is when I get to plan this and when I get to execute it, because it's honestly my passion and it's my baby. I love it.
We're going to end on that note. So thank you for watching, and you have a great day. See you next time.
You did it. You did it.